I caught both sell and buy move on gold. So on the sell I made a profit, on the buy too I made a profit, which I also gave out to my community members and posted on my social media handles. And most of my followers are asking me to do a video on how I was able to catch those moves, or how I was able to enter both the buy and the sell where I made profit. So in today's video, that's what we are going to talk about. Just some 3 steps that I took that made me money on gold. Now, if you're part of my Telegram channel, then you should know that I love trading these 3 pairs: pound USD, pound JPY, and gold. But my favorite is the pound JPY. So let's move to what we have to talk about today. Before that, subscribe to my Telegram channel by clicking on the link in the description, and also subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you've not subscribed yet, then I can bet that you are missing a lot, because the knowledge I pour out here is unmatched. I try to simplify everything for everybody to understand. Even a beginner will understand what I teach. Now, this is gold on the higher time frame, and as you can see, gold is moving in an uptrend because we are having a series of higher highs and higher lows. I have a video on market structure, that is the link up there. You can look for that, or you can watch that as well. Now let's move to the 4-hour time frame. So this is the 4-hour time frame. Now, before I took the trade, I did analysis on 4-hour. I didn't really move to the daily, the weekly. No, I just did the 4-hour directly, because this is what gives me a clearer structure. So on the 4-hour, I started drawing my key zone. So this is my first key zone on the 4-hour. This is my first key zone on the 4-hour, and still on the 4-hour I have another key zone here, which is our demand zone, because we can see some sort of break of structure and some imbalances that are left behind that price is supposed to fuel. And we also have liquidity taken out at this point at the downside. So this is some of the things I looked out for. Now on that same demand zone, we also have this resistance 10 support. So I am drawing the resistance 10 support as a zone, but not a line. Now you can see what is happening here, right? So this is a zone and not a line. Fortunately for us, the demand zone is falling on the support and resistance. Now anytime you find a demand zone or a supply zone closer to a support or resistance, then you should know that there is 85% probability that that zone will hold. Then right from there, I also do, because price is here currently, you see this is a zone we have at the upside, and we also have a zone at the downside. So we could have price forming this kind of thing, you know, price moving to the downside, or we could have something like this, price moving to the upside. This way we can have something like this, price moving to the upside. Now, how do we know if price is going to move to the upside, or price is going to continue moving to the downside? So since I know what I am doing, what I did was that I drew a mini support 10 resistance here. So this is my mini support 10 resistance, because we had price moving up to this mini supply zone and bounced off. Okay, so there's probability that price will move to fill this week, then back into the zone, or price will move down to fill this week, then into this zone. So let's look at what I did there. Then right from there, I drew my trend line, my mini trend line here. I also taught how to draw a mini trend line. That is the link up there. You can also watch out for that. From here, I move to the 1 hour to see if I'm going to get a break out of any of the 2 zones I'm targeting. So like I said, our first zone is the trend line, and the second one is the support and resistance. So immediately price broke out from here, I entered aggressively, not conservative, because we have 2 types of traders, or 2 types of traders with their entry. So we can have aggressive entry and conservative entry. So right from here, I entered aggressively, not conservative. So what I did was that immediately there is a breakout, I just brought out my short position to dropped it here. Then my take profit to this zone over here, then my stop loss a little above this zone. The reason is that price can just reverse right after failing this week. Anything can happen because this week is also on this zone. You see, we have zones here, we have support and resistance zones here, so anything can happen. So immediately that happened, I just brought my SL a little above this zone and a little above, a little above the zone. Then my take profit to this point. Now we have 1:2 risks to reward. This is a very good risk to reward. This, once it is 1:2, I am okay. I know what I am risking. So immediately I entered, and look at what we had price doing at this point. Look at what is happening here. Look at what is happening here. Price is moving nicely. This is our target. If we finally end up hitting SL, we are okay because we know what our target is, we know what our stop loss is. So this is our target. You see, we had price pulling back a little, but we were not taking out because we know where our stop loss is. And one thing is, immediately there is a breakout, I am targeting this zone. That is why I waited patiently. When I gave it out to my community members, some people close their trades because they didn't believe that price will get back into the zone. Their emotions were in play, so they were looking at what their emotion is telling them instead of looking at what they were risking on this trade. Now look at what happened here. Immediately price entered into our demand zone, which is our next key zone that we are looking at the downside here. So you see, this is our take profit, which has been triggered nicely on the sell position. You see what has happened here. So our take profit has been triggered nicely. Now when you have a zone, either a demand zone or a supply zone at the downside, you make sure that your take profit is a little above the demand zone or the resistance zone, because price might not really get into the zone as you expected. So you should make sure that your take profit is always a little above the zone you are targeting. So our first sell target has been triggered, and the reason why we would have to look for a buying opportunity here is because price did not break out of this zone, which is our support and resistance or our demand zone, but rather we can see the boost coming in. We can see some confirmation that is telling us that we would have to buy this pair. So this is the next setup I dropped this setup looking at this point as a supply zone. So I was waiting for price to get to this supply zone because of this break of structure and whatsoever the reference points are for market makers. And you can see the rejection has already started from the demand zone. So I was waiting for price to do something like this. Look at what I was waiting for at this point. When you are a trader, you really need to open your eyes. Even if you have the skills, you still have to open your eyes because the market will always do what it wants. So I was waiting for price to either get here or pull up a little, leave a week back to this zone, and then we would have a 10 around back to the zone. Then maybe we continue to the upside or we break to the downside and continue selling. So we are going to have something like a W pattern at this point, moving to the upside. Now this is what price did. So you can see that price, I get this setup, so you can see that price is moving to the upside. Let's look at the reaction of price when it got to the demand zone. So you see what is happening right here, as if when price got into the demand zone, it's as if we were having, you see, immediately price got into the supply zone, sorry, it's as if we were having some fall back to the downside, only for us to see that price reverse back to the upside. So immediately price broke this previous high, I changed from selling to buying. Now this is what happened when I dropped the chart on my Twitter page. Most of the followers were saying I gave them a sell chart, and why am I now drawing a buy? They didn't know what I actually saw right after the breakout of this zone. So this is what I did. Immediately price broke out of this zone. There is another thing I also saw here. That is why I am saying that if you are a trader, you really need to open your eyes. Immediately we had a head and shoulder pattern. So we had the left shoulder here, we also have the right shoulder here. We have the left shoulder, and then we also have the right shoulder. So this is the left shoulder, this is the right shoulder. Now let me draw the zone clearly for you to see. You can see, so this is the zone, this is the first shoulder, this is the second shoulder, this is the first thing I saw. Immediately price broke out of that zone. Then immediately I looked for a neckline. So this will now be our neckline. This will be our neckline. Okay, right from here, this will be our neckline. Right from here, this is now going to be our neckline for the left shoulder, the right shoulder, and the head. So we had the head, the left shoulder, and the right shoulder. Now after price has broken out, immediately price has broken out from the previous high. You can see that we have a retest back to the previous high. Here we have a retest back to that same zone. Let me put the support and resistance there for you. This is the support and resistance here. So you can see that price has come back for a retest in that same zone. So from here, even though we have a breakout and a retest back to that same zone, there was still nothing here that is telling me to buy this market, because you can see that there is still some pressure from the seller. So immediately I just drew my trend line here. I was waiting to see if I could get a confirmation, a very good confirmation, before I enter a buy. So what will happen here is that price can just pull back to the trend line before we continue buying, because we also have a mini zone at this point. This is a mini zone here. You can see this zone. That's why I'm saying that no matter what your strategy is, you still need to open your eyes, because the market will always do what it wants. So you see, this is another mini zone. So it's possible that price can also get there and continue moving. And the good aspect was that there was nothing here that was telling me to enter a buy, because we can still see some sell pressure. Price is pulling to the upside, and we see the sellers pulling it back to the downside. Now let's look at what happened. So we have our trend line there. You can see price is still moving. Yes, still we've not really had any confirmation yet. Whatever confirmation I'm looking for, I've not really seen it here. You see what is still happening here. So I've not entered any buy trade yet, because this is a double top. This is a double top at this point, so anything could still happen. You can still get the seller. That is why you need to be patient. The market will always pay the patience. The market will always take money from the impatient to the patient, because we still have a double top here. So price could just continue selling from where the double top is. And I can tell you that this thing over here, or this point over here, has really made a lot of people to sell this, which is gold. I saw a lot of mentors selling gold when I am looking at the opportunity to buy. So that is the difference between KiraForex and other mentors. Now, how did I enter this trade? You see, even though I had my trend line here, price still broke out of the trend line. So this has also given more sellers the trigger to enter, because the trend line has also broken. Yes, so even on the trend line, I'm still waiting for a confirmation. I wasn't looking at selling, so I didn't pay attention to any selling opportunity. My mind was on buying this pair. So if at the end of the day I didn't get opportunity to buy, I'll still wait for another opportunity on gold, or I'll just move to other pair. So immediately, look at something here. Immediately this broke out and I saw this candle, this huge engulfing candle. It was telling me what I'm supposed to do. Now whatever has happened here, the head and shoulder pattern, this pattern you are seeing here, this same pattern, we have the same pattern here. This same thing has happened at this side. Look at this side. You see, this way, we have it this way. You see, so the same pattern is happening here. That's why I'm saying that if you're a trader, you really need to open your eyes and see how the market behaves. So immediately I saw this. Now I entered my buy position, and when I entered a buy position, this was my first take profit. I was looking at taking my first take profit here, because I measured from the neckline. I used my rule, measured from the neckline. I used my rule, measured from the neckline to the head. This is the head. So we measure from the neckline. This is our neckline. Then to the head here. So immediately I got that same measurement. I just put from here let's use the box instead. Let's use the box. So this is the neckline from here to here. So this is the neckline. So I just pull these balls, place it here from the neckline to this point. Okay, so right after I place it here, I just measured the 50% of that box. So this is the 50% from here to here. This is also another strategy a lot of you don't know about. That's why I said you should subscribe to this channel, because there are a lot of things you'll be learning here. So from here to here is also my 50%. So my first take profit will be on the 50%. So this is our first take profit on the 50%. So this is our 50% first take profit here. Right, this is our first take profit. So if you are going to take any profit at all, this is where we have to look at. So our first take profit to be here, then our second take profit to be at the zone where we are targeting, this zone. Our second take profit to be here. It should be above to this point, but I am looking at taking it at this zone, because this zone is also a very strong zone. Price could just get there and we would have the reversal down to the downside. Even though our final take profit is here, I just have to measure so we can take some profit before anything else can happen. Because when you see here too, we have another zone here. That is why I'm taking my 50% here. So price can just get to that zone and we'll have a reversal. We always have to be at the safer side. That is why I'm taking my second take profit there. And in smart money, we also have an entry model like this, which looks similar to what we are doing. So we have this, price will push a little up, come back to pick that liquidity at the downside, move up like this. So it's called the head and shoulder entry. That is when we come to the smart money. Price will come back, move up again, then push back to this zone before we would have the move to the upside. So this will now be our targeted zone. Okay, so we would have a break of the neckline, leaving a demand zone here. Price will come back to the demand zone before we would have the push to the downside. Now before we continue to the chart and look at how our take profit was triggered, if you've not subscribed to this channel, hit on that subscribe button now in some few seconds, and also hit on the like button and leave a comment in the comment section if you want to see me do more of these things. Now let's move to the chart again. So whatever I've shown you, which is the smart money entry, we are having almost the same thing here. You see price pushed up, came down here, we have this entry here, price went up again, came back to the zone before we are having the move to the upside. So immediately I see this, I just dropped my long position too. So let's look at what happened here. Now this is how the entry actually happened. Right after seeing this, I could have just entered from here. So it's going to be something like this, a long position to something like this. Then my take profit will be a little below this zone, and my SL will be a little below the previous low, which is this place. Then my take profit to the targeted area. So this is our targeted area. This is where we are looking at taking our profit, this zone here. I hope you are getting the whole thing now. This is the zone we are looking at. So this is almost 1:3 risks to reward. So this is where our entry began. Then we move to the upside. Now those who are going to miss it from here, those who are going to miss the entry from here, they also have another entry point here. So let's look at the reaction of price to the upside. Let's see what is happening at the upside. So now you can see that right from here, we also have a breakout from this point. We also have a breakout at this our mini support 10 resistance. We had a breakout. So now this is what price is forming. Series of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher lows, higher high. We are going to have a higher low, then we continue with the higher high. So look at what price did here. Immediately we had a retest back to that zone. You see what happened? Immediately we had a retest back to the zone here. This is the retest. This is the retest at this point. Breakout, retest. I have a video on how to trade breakout and retest, and like I also said in that video, I said that we look for, or we use that strategy in a trending market. So you can see price is forming a series of high, low, high, lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, in that order. Then eventually we had this huge breakout to our targeted point. So you can see where price is now. We are now in our targeted point. So this is how I make money trading gold, and this took us some days. It took us almost 2 weeks or so before price could hit our targeted zone. This also took us, I think, almost 2 weeks or getting to 1 month for price to get to this point. Let's see where it started from. It started from this point. Let's see, that is January 24th to when? We had it here January 24th to February 24th. So this is 1 whole month. This took us 1 whole month. And if you follow me, you should also know I'm a swing trader. I love swinging a lot because that is where I find joy. So I love swinging a lot. So this took us a whole month. This also took us almost 2 weeks to get to our targeted zone, and all these setups have been dropped in my channel. So if you are not part of the channel, kindly click on the link in the description below, be part of us, and also tap from the knowledge. So these are made money trading gold. Thank you for watching, thank you for commenting, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.